Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name's Justin King. I'm calling in from Canada. It's a little bit early in the morning from our Canadian time zone at 7 o'clock. But thank you, everybody, for joining the webinar today. Really excited to have everyone here for a good opportunity for discussion and collaboration. The discussion will be easing the transition for engineering students in the Technical Preparatory College Year. And I want to thank Högskolan Väst to be able to join us. So we have the University of West today, and the speakers are Niklas Ericsson. He'll be joined by some of his colleagues from University of West, Michael Pieslinger, Wallin and Eric Windhede. So again, wanted to thank everybody. My name's Justin King from Digital Ed, and we'll jump into the webinar. So the presenters today, I've introduced myself, but my name's Justin King. I'm the Vice President of Global Revenue from Digital Ed. And again, wanted to thank very much the University West and the speakers we have today. So we have Niklas Ericsson, Michael Pieslinger, Wallin and Eric Windhede. And I hope I've pronounced everyone's names accurately. And I'll pass it over to our main presenter right away so we can get into the presentation. The main presenter is Niklas Ericsson. Niklas is a lecturer in applied mathematics at the University of West. He's been in that since 2003. Niklas has actually been using Möbius, the platform that will be a part of the discussion today, since 2017. And Niklas studied at the University of Chalmers in engineering physics in his past as well. So thank you again, thank you, everybody. I'll pass the floor over to Niklas. So Niklas, I'll stop sharing my screen, and then you're able to share your screen and your slides as well.
I hope that everyone now can see my presentation.
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm happy for this opportunity to give this talk about how we use Möbius at Högskolan Väst. My name is Niklas Ericsson, and I will do most of the presentation. Then Jens Wallin will assist me a little bit in the presentation later on, and Michael and Eric will be available in the Q&A session in the end. I would just like to start with a brief overview. I will talk just a little bit about our university, University West, or in Swedish, Högskolan Väst. Then I will continue with a very short introduction to Möbius. I think that most of you are familiar with Möbius, but in case there are some who don't know so much about Möbius, I will start with a brief introduction. Then I will talk about the history of using Möbius at University West. And today, the focus will be on the Preparatory Year, which is a special program where we have used Möbius from the start, you can say. This is where it started at our university. Then we will just mention a little bit about our future plans, and we conclude with a Q&A session where we can all hopefully help to answer your questions. So let me just start with saying a few words about our university. It is not a very old university. It was founded in 1990. So last year actually we turned 30 years old, but as you can understand, it was not possible to celebrate that much. We are situated in the southwest part of Sweden, in a city called Trollhättan. Maybe some of you know about the Swedish automobile manufacturer Saab that used to be located in Trollhättan. Here is the number of employees, around 700 last spring, and the number of students, 13,600. There are 4 departments at our university, and Erik, Jens, Michael, and myself, we belong to the Department of Engineering Science. So then let me go on with a very short introduction to Möbius. You could say that Möbius is an online platform which is particularly well suited, I think, for courses in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, due to the math capabilities of Möbius. We have worked a lot with something called assignments. An assignment is simply a collection of questions that the students can work with online. These assignments can be of different kinds. The simplest one is just an anonymous practice, only for practicing purposes. Then no results are recorded. Then there are also other types that you can use for homework or quiz, where the results are recorded. And you can also work with proctoring if you would like to have it as an exam. I would also like to mention the possibility to build lessons. Then, apart from questions, you can also use something called an interactive narrative. This is something we have not tried yet, but I think it would be interesting to learn more about these possibilities. But we have worked so far mainly with assignments. I would just like to say a few things that I find very useful working with Möbius. The first thing is that questions can be randomized. In a single question, we can generate random parameters, which means that the question will, even if it is the same kind of question, it will be different each time. So a student can do it many times and practice and get new questions all the time. It is also possible to build a question group, which is just a collection of 2 or more questions, and then you can draw randomly from that group 1 or more questions. So that is another possibility that I find very good for randomization. Another good feature, I think, is that when the student submits his or her assignment, it is immediately automatically graded. So this is good for the students because they get instant feedback to what they have done. And it is, of course, also good for the teacher because it reduces the amount of work that we have to that we have to do on grading. And finally, I would just like to show some different question types that you can use with Möbius. And of course, you have the standard question types that you would expect, multiple choice and so on. I would just like to mention a few that we have worked with a lot. I can start with this one. I hope that you can see my cursor here. The numeric type. It is a simple type where the answer is just a numeric. But what is very good, especially when we have used this in the physics courses, is that we can also ask the student not only to give a number, but also a unit. And that is very handy that Möbius can handle unit conversions and so on. Talking about physics, I can also mention this one, this question type that we have used in physics, a free body diagram, which basically means that we can ask the student to draw different kinds of forces on some background image that we provide. In mathematics courses, of course, we have used this mathematical formula question type, where the students can enter formula and equations, for instance. I would also like to mention this one, the maple graded question type, because I think it is an important feature that we have access to the Maple math engine, which is very powerful. And here in the Maple graded question type, we can use Maple in the grading of the question, which gives us a big freedom in the grading. But I think also in other situations, it is very good to have access to the Maple engine. For instance, in drawing plots based on random parameters. And also when we can compute answers to questions, then it is very handy to have access to Maple, let Maple do the computations. Maybe I could mention just a few other, a little bit more advanced question types that I personally would like to learn more about. This math app is also based on Maple. It is simply that we embed a Maple worksheet in the question, and then the student can work with this worksheet, and the submitted answer is based on the current state of the worksheet. Finally, a little bit similar is this one, HTML, where the student instead can work with some kind of web application written in HTML and JavaScript, which gives fantastic possibilities, I think, for building questions. We have not worked so much with these, but that is something that I personally would like to learn more about. So that was a little bit just about Möbius. Then let me just say something about the history here at the University West. We started in the academic year 2016-17 with Möbius, which was then called Maple TA. And we started, as I think I told you in the beginning, with using it at the Preparatory College Year. And we used it in the math and physics courses from the beginning. We will come back to more details in the next section. Then I can mention that from the current academic year, we will also start using Möbius in the chemistry course in our preparatory college year. That will actually start next week. So fingers crossed that it will work out fine. I would also like to say that from this academic year 2021, this preparatory college year is also offered as a distance education. Michael Pieslinger, one of our panelists, is the program director for this program. And of course, we use Möbius also there in math, physics, and chemistry. So this is the preparatory year, but it has actually expanded also to other programs. I can mention an online summer math course that we have given since the summer 2018. So it will be the 4th time this summer. And I can also like to mention that starting in 2019, we also use Möbius at our engineering programs in the mathematics courses, algebra, trigonometry, linear algebra, calculus for our engineering students. There we also have a distance education program in mechanical engineering running from 2019, where we use Möbius a lot. Here you can see the development, just counting the number of students that use Möbius at our university. As you can see, we started on a very small scale. I think it was 60 licenses, the first trial that we had. And now, 4 years later, that has grown more than 10-fold. So today we have about 650 students working with Möbius. So it has been a big growth over this year. So now I will just turn to the preparatory year and talk a little bit more about that. And here in a little while, Jens Wallin, who is the program director of this year, will help me to talk about how we have used Möbius and our experiences. But I will start giving some initial information. The preparatory college year, we call it preparatory year. Sometimes I know it is called foundation year, or there are other versions also. But the idea is the same. It gives students who lack some specific entry requirements for entering an engineering program. It is typically that they need to study more mathematics, physics, and chemistry. For instance, if they took an engineering, if they studied, for instance, economics in high school, they might need to do this. This we offer both on campus and, as I said, from this year also as a distance education. And how do we use Möbius? Well, for once, we use these anonymous practice tests for pure practice. Nothing is recorded. And it is very good that for a student, due to the randomization, they can take the tests as many times as they like, and they get new exercises, new questions every time. I can also mention that in the spring, then we had to switch due to the pandemic, of course, on a very short notice to distance education. This then was a great opportunity. We could build extra practice tests that the students could work on. So I think it was good for us then that we had worked with these kinds of tests before, because then we could use it now to give extra opportunities for training. But apart from this, we have also been using quizzes And these are mandatory. These are mandatory tests. In physics, typically, we give the students one such test or quiz every week. It is not a very large test. It might contain of 3 questions, and they are usually at a very basic level. So the student gets one such test every week, and then we have some percentage, say that they need 85% in total on all these tests to pass this. They can do them an arbitrary number of times. So if they miss the first time, they can just do it again until they succeed. It looks very much the same in mathematics. We have a little fewer tests, maybe 3 or 4 every course, which they need to pass, which are also on a basic level. We also used to have not mandatory tests, but tests that gave bonus points. And I think that was also very efficient. The students took the tests many times to get the maximum number of bonus points. And I think maybe that the extra bonus points themselves did not matter so much, but all the practice, all the effort they had invested into getting these bonus points helped them very much in the final exam. I can mention also that for the last 2 years, we have been using the learning management system Canvas, and that has been very good from a Möbius point of view, because we can use what is called LTI integration and connect Möbius with Canvas. So from a student's perspective, they never leave, as they see it, they never leave Canvas. So we have just one system now for the students from their perspective. All the results are automatically pushed from Möbius to Canvas, which is very good because the students can see all their results in Canvas, and we as teachers can also see the results. Before leaving over to Jens, I would just like to show you very quickly a few examples from how it looks inside the Canvas. And I would give one example from a mathematics course that we had this last study period, and one physics course. It is the second course in mathematics, and it is the second course in physics in the preparatory year. So I will just switch to Canvas, just a moment. So I will share another screen. So I hope you can see my Canvas page now. Unfortunately, this is in Swedish, but I hope that everybody gets the picture anyway. So this is what it looks for the students in Canvas. And this is the mathematics class. And then we have a module called Möbius. And here we have a quick introduction to Möbius, a film that we have recorded to help the students getting started with Möbius. And we also give them a brief reference guide, a brief reference manual, where they can learn some syntax also to help them to get started using Möbius. And here you can see that we have only 3 mandatory quizzes in this class. They are actually open right now. All 3 of them are open. It is a resit now at the end of the study period. I can just show you one of them, say the third one. As I said, it is very basic questions, typically very basic questions. Here we have one where the student is asked to compute the derivative of a function. And the next question is another derivative computation. They have to use the chain rule. And here they have to determine the tangent line to a special function. And we have some product rule. And we finally have the quotient rule. So as you can see, very basic questions that they can use for practicing. And I would also like to give an example from the physics course. Here, as I said, it looks a little bit differently. Every week we have a different Möbius test. Here, for instance, it was a week about electric circuit. And then we had quiz number 5 on electric circuits. And we could just open that too. See what it looks like. So here we have one question with some circuit and some randomized, of course, values for the resistances. And then the students need to compute the current, I think, in this circuit. So this is what it looks like. So the student gets a number of quizzes like this during the courses. Now I will get back to the main presentation. So just a moment. There we have it. And then I will now leave the word to Jens Wallin, the program director for our campus-based preparatory year. And Jens will talk a little bit now about our work during the last 5-6 years, where of course Möbius has been an important part. And he will talk about some experiences and maybe give some advices from our experiences. Please, Jens.
Thank you, Niklas. Hi all, my name is Jens Wallin and I'm the program director for the Preparatory College Year at University West here in Trollhättan, Sweden. I would like to show you and comment the development of the Preparatory College Year during the period from 2013 until 2020. As you can see from the diagram, there's roughly 115 students applying for our Preparatory College Year every year. It's the same from 2013 and ongoing. And then within a couple of weeks, we are down to approximately 80 students, and that is mainly our starting position. Just about the same every year. This loss is because that student starts their education on another university that I have applied for. So as you can see on the graph, we have significantly increased the rate of students that have completed the Preparatory College Year. That's one of the lines you see there. And 2 started the engineering programs here at University West in Trollhättan. And during this period, we have taken some important steps that we believe that has contributed to the increased number of students passing the Preparatory College Year. And I will give you some examples of this. First, academic support, both in groups and on an individual level. For instance, in my schedule, I have extra hours almost every week for individual support. Extra hours in the first quarter. I will come back to that in a couple of minutes. We have also increased the time for support on group level. And during the years, we have experienced that physics is the most difficult subject for the students. And we hope for more academic support in physics. And now, the reason why we've gathered here today is the digital support with Möbius. Möbius is a very powerful tool for our students. They can repeatedly and over again do exercises that Möbius randomly produces for them. For example, we can produce all exercises of the same level of difficulty, but with different figures. And we can adjust it just like we want. Very, very good. Everything is self-correcting, and it saves us a lot of time. As teachers, it saves us a lot of time. And the student also must do some mandatory assignments, as Niklas said, in Möbius to pass the course. But they can also, of course, use Möbius whenever they like, just for practice. So if you see on these figures on the diagram here, we believe that Möbius is one of the factors for success for our program. I will return to a little bit about economy later. And then we have another important factor is the importance of the first quarter of the preparatory college year. So as you can see on the diagram here, it's a little 59 of our, it's a little green spot there. 59 of our students, it was October 2019, passed the first quarter of the preparatory college year. And it was the first big math and physics exam. And 52 out of these, it's quite a little under the green dot there. 52 of these students completed the whole program. So if we can help students the first 2 months with academic support and digital support, we have a good chance to help them to pass the program. And from the very start, when I came here at 2015, I didn't realize the big importance of the first quarter, because the students that pass that period of time, we will keep them. So first quarter is essential for us. And we usually have a big pedagogical challenge. There's a huge gap in the pre-knowledge level between the students who are older, typically 35 years of age, finished school 15, 20 years ago, and I've been working since then maybe, and the young students that left school just a couple of months ago. And the challenge is to keep them together in a group and help them as a group in the beginning. And here Möbius helps us a lot. The students that need to practice uses Möbius all the time, and we teachers encourage them to do so. Nevertheless, the older students catch up during the year, and that's probably because of the motivation, but that's another issue. So a few words about our economy. The amount of students from the preparatory college year that attended the engineering programs at University West has increased from, and that's the blue line, as you can see far down, approximately 5, 6, 7, 8 students to 42 students during the last 7 years. So each engineering student generates 100,000 Swedish crowns from the government to our department. So this increase in the amount of engineering students generates us something like 8 to 10 million crowns per year. So it's a lot of money in students. But I can say that besides digital and analog support, there's one thing that is even more important, and that is the devoted staff. We work as a team, we help each other, there is no prestige whatsoever. We work together and we love our students. And that is absolutely the greatest factor for success for us here at the University West. So if I just summarize what I've said, the analog thing, use hours smart in the first quarter of the preparatory college year to get students through that first exams that you have in the end of October. And the digital one, use Möbius, saves a lot of time, give perfect results, very good results for students. And number 3, devoted staff. So after completing this preparatory college year and some years in engineering studies, there are three big winners as I see it. One, the society as a whole, there's a big lack of engineers. Two, University West, our aim is to produce engineers. And three, of course, the biggest winner of them all is the individual himself or herself. So thanks for your attention, and we take questions later on.
So, thank you very much, Jens. Then I will just conclude by mentioning a few words about our future plans. I think I already told you about the second part. I think it would be interesting to delve a little bit deeper into the possibilities of these kinds of interactive lessons. And also, so far in the preparatory year, we have used Möbius both in physics and mathematics, and now also in chemistry. But in the engineering programs, so far, we have only used it in mathematics. And we think it would be interesting to try it also in some other classes. For instance, in a class in basic electricity. But so far, this is just on the planning stage, but it is something we have in our mind to try to expand it also to some other subjects. So by that, I would like to thank you very much for listening to us. And now is time for questions, and hopefully we will be able also to give some answers. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much. There are a few questions from the webinar attendees, so thank you to those that have asked some questions as well. I'm just going to read them. The first question that came from Nihad Subasic from, I believe, KTH University has asked, how can you be sure that your students do these mandatory assessments and not some other students? So there, I don't know if you have a process for that, or that you could speak to, or if you're thinking about it as well.
No, we do not use any proctoring for these mandatory tests. So the simple answer is that we do not know if it is the student himself or herself who has done the test. We do not know that.
Yep. Maybe I would mention one thing there as well then, for anyone that's interested in David Smith. Maybe you could follow up too if there's anything I'm missing, but there are some proctoring features within Möbius that if anyone's interested, we could send out some information for as well after this. Some of our customers also use Möbius with video proctoring solutions. It's obviously it's a very debated topic right now, especially during the COVID global pandemic with this issue, but then also, the privacy concerns that can come with having video proctoring solutions as well. So if anyone's interested, we could definitely send a little bit more information.
May I just add to that question? I can just add that if you look at the mandatory Möbius tests, it is a rather small part of the entire number of credits. Say that one course is 8 or 9 credit points, maybe they get 1 point from the mandatory Möbius tests. So it is not the main. It is not the main part of the examination, and I think we see it is mostly a tool for practicing. Yeah.
Great. Okay. There's a couple of other questions that I can see, and David, please let me know if I'm missing anything too, but I see one here. It is from, I believe it was from the University of Gothenburg. So hello, Lisa. Lisa, and again, sorry if I say your last name wrong, but Usimaki. And the question is, do you use Möbius also in the degree programs? Thank you, from Lisa from the University of Gothenburg.
Yes, we do. We use it in the mathematics courses in all our engineering programs, in electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, computer engineering. So yes, we do that.
Great. Thank you. There's actually a good question that we do get asked from our customers as well. Again, it's from Nihad from KTH. Nihad asks about whether there's a community where teachers could actually go into the community to share best practices or ask questions to other teachers about using Möbius in particular. And so there is a Möbius community, and we'd be happy to share out that link. It's definitely a little bit of a work in progress for us, but we could. There is a community. It's active. We'll share it out, and of course, if there's any feedback, as well as what we could do as a company to help improve and make it great, then please let us know. But maybe we won't go into it today, but we'll send a link, and then people can have it and have a look around if they're interested to see. Did I miss any other questions, David or Guanta?
Yeah, we've got a few more in the Q&A section as well. So there's one from an anonymous attendee asking, is the improvement in retention specifically due to Möbius or because of the increase in formative assessment generally?
Could you please, David, repeat the question? I could not hear.
Sure. So they're asking whether the improvement that we saw in retention earlier is because of Möbius specifically, or because they're doing more formative assessment generally.
Well, I might answer that one. Yeah, I think it's impossible to have a percentage how much is Möbius and how much is other things. That's impossible. But we know that everything combined has helped us to get better retention through the program. So it's not only due to Möbius, of course. And as I said, the most important thing here is devoted staff, and it's the devoted staff that develops Möbius in our school. So that's the most important, specific thing I think. But Möbius is very, very powerful for students, and we had not get so good results without Möbius. That's all I can say.
Yeah, thank you.
Great, that's great.
We've got a couple more in this.
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't mind David reading. There's one from Eero Homeland from I believe Eero from Savonia in Finland. So thank you, Eero, for coming to the webinar, and hello, good morning. Eero's actually last year did one of these, a similar webinar where he talked about student success with Möbius. But Eero's question is, what kind of support have you provided students in their preparatory year? Where can a student get support if he or she is facing some difficulties while trying to solve Möbius problems?
If it is Möbius related problems, I think typically the student has contacted one of the teachers, and we have, to the best of our ability, tried to help them. Sometime I have then sent a question to the support, to Digital Ed support, and then I give the information back to the student. So all their question has gone through us teachers.
Okay, great. Well, we're also happy to hear that digital support was there too. Digital Ed support was there as well to help. That's great. I have another question from Robert Johansson, and Robert asks, you mentioned a summer course. Is it for students that already started at Högskolan Väst, or is it students that are on their way to start their first semester? So
this summer course is open for anyone. It doesn't have to be students that will start to study on Högskolan Väst. So that is a course that all students can apply for. Then we also have, which should not be confused with the summer course, I did not mention it, but we also have a short introduction course before the semester starts, where we also use Möbius. And that is for the students who will start our engineering degree programs. And also, actually, we have a version for the students who will start the preparatory year. So that is for our students. But the summer course is open for everyone.
Great. Great, thank you. Maybe we'll, I know we're a little bit over time, but maybe we'll take one or two more questions, because obviously, yeah, the collaboration is always great at the end. So David, can you see any other questions at all that jump out? Or are we through most of the list now?
There's one from Olo from Umeå University. So in your examples, the questions were calculations. Do you use theoretical questions about definitions or rules in your quiz? So do you ever go that kind of higher theoretical level in your use of Möbius?
I think maybe not so much in the questions that you saw now in the preparatory year. Maybe if we look at the courses in the engineering degree programs, there might be some at a little higher theoretical level. But I would say that the most part are basic questions regarding computations.
That's great. And maybe if we could just squeeze one more in. There's one from Mirella. I hope that I pronounced that correctly. So Mirella works at Karlstad University. She said that we're only at the beginning. Our problem is the amount of time for the preparation of the tasks, as well as the time to monitor the students' questions. We don't get special time for this work, and if we do, it's very little. How about you? How do you solve this problem? So obviously you guys grew into lots of different courses. So I would imagine there's been a fair amount of content authoring involved. So yeah. How do you go about solving that?
Yes, it is quite a lot of work the first time to build the classes, building content. Now, again, we have this community, and many people are very generous sharing questions with one another. So we have also been given from many different universities, we have been given some questions also. So we have not had to start entirely from the beginning. And I think it is something that is growing now also. Maybe Justin or David can talk more about this. But I know that you can find a lot of content nowadays that is free to use.
Yeah, no, this is very important for us as a company to help, especially with newer schools and universities that are starting to adopt Möbius. It's, I think for the Nordic countries, there's definitely a strong community of collaboration. And so often what I've seen is universities will share questions and content back and forth. It's I believe the most open collaborative community I've seen in all of our customer base. And the second, there's two other options. One is we actually have launched content packs. So we had a product launch as a company in at the start of 2020, so about a year ago, where there's quite a few courses for math. We have calculus, algebra, statistics. We have a physics course where it's a fully kind of a turnkey end-to-end course delivery where there's content and the questions that many customers have adopted. So if there's any interest, I could send some of that information. The courses have been built by a combination of different authors. Some of the authors are people that work at our company that actually build within Möbius. Some are partner universities, such as the University of Waterloo. There's some in the United States. We have kind of different partnering universities all around the world that have contributed content as well. And so it's a product that we actually have, and I can send out a link to our website that lists a lot of the courses that we have. It's a very good option, especially for new teachers that are looking to get started with Möbius. And David, I think there's probably one other solution, maybe the content template. I don't know if there's anything else that you can think of, or
the content template is another one. So the templates, rather than being like the packs where they're full courses, they're more about giving you specific examples of how Möbius is used to its fullest effect. So say with things like the more complicated maple graded questions, the content templates provide a set of those that you can then kind of reverse engineer and understand how you can the syntax of maple graded questions or randomization and things like that. And it also does have a big set of the math apps that Niklas mentioned. So we give a big load of those with Möbius now as well, so we can get the interactivity that we like in there straight away.
Can I say a short thing to Mirella?
Yeah, please.
It is there are many things we can do to help each other, but it is a little bit of an undertaking anyway. And I'd like just to say that we actually got hours in our working description to do this a little bit also. You got it, Niklas. I've got it also, and so it's a good thing to mention that it's not on our completely spare time. It takes a little bit of time to get it starting, but once it's up and running, it works very smoothly.
And I can fill in there, and I can say that you're all welcome to contact me here at University West, and we can collaborate around these questions. You don't have to invent the wheel yourselves. If we have a lot of nice assessment that you want to use, call me. It's tax money here in Sweden. We get salary from tax money. And if we have done the work, you don't have to do the work again. But some nice collaboration between universities, that is very good. So just contact me if you like. Then we take it from there and further on.
Thank you very much. And there's one final question I'll mention. It's from, I've had to use Google Translate from Swedish to English, but the question is, can you share your tests with us who participate? They have similar educations at KAU who are interested. Sincerely, I think it's Lena. So, okay, great. Thank you so much, everyone, for the collaboration. And maybe I'll just wrap up. Thank you very much again to the speakers today. I just wanted to thank Högskolan and Väst for a really great presentation and for taking the time to share their story with the college preparatory year. Thank you both to Niklas and Jens for a really great, discussion and presentation as well in particular. We will send out some information and I believe we'll be sending out a copy of the recording, and we'll send out some information about the Möbius community if anyone's interested in learning more and registering there. And then there's a couple of other follow-ups, but I'm really hoping we can do another similar collaboration for the Nordic countries later in the year as well. So hopefully we have another opportunity to get together and share some information. So have a wonderful afternoon, and I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy during very challenging times, and I wish everyone the best. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thanks,
everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.